Hi everyone, so today we're talking about US stocks versus the UK stocks. If you don't already know by my accent, I'm from the UK, but primarily I do buy shares in US stocks over UK stocks. I have bought UK stocks before, not many. I would say that in my lifetime of being in the stock market, I probably invested into about three UK stocks. And a lot of people ask me that know that I'm in the stock market ask why I always choose US stocks over UK stocks. Now, there's three reasons which you can see right now, and I'll go over them and just talk about them a little bit. So, first of all, I think this is the big one. That's why I put it at number one. So, number one being news. Now, the UK stocks in general hardly have any news. Like, they're briefly mentioned on TV. There's no dedicated UK stock channel, and overall there's not many websites that post news on UK stocks. I think the only kind of one is Financial Times, but for most of their services you have to pay now to kind of get any sort of news on it, which isn't really good. Whereas the US stocks, you pretty much can go on CNN, which has pretty much all the major stocks on there, and a little bit of sales news, EPS, dividends, stuff like that. Yahoo Finance, there's a couple of UK stocks in Yahoo Finance, not many, mainly on CNN. So obviously you've got your news channels, your websites, websites like Seeking Alpha, for example. You get a lot of news on there. There's just hardly any sort of websites or news channels that talk about UK stocks. YouTube as well, there's no one that really talks about UK stocks. But I think there's other reasons why not many people talk about UK stocks. It's because I don't think too many people get invested in them, like I'll talk about in a little bit. So the lack of information that's out there, and how easy it is to try and find a company. Like if you were going to go on, just say you found Apple for example, and you didn't know much about it, to get the kind of revenue and estimates and stuff like that, you can just log on to CNN or Yahoo Finance, and you can kind of find out a decent bit of information about how that company is doing. Whereas, let's just say for example a UK stock like Just Eat, there's no really quick website like CNN or Yahoo Finance where you can go on just to find out how that company is doing. There's nothing like that around, which is a little bit of a nightmare really, so it's hard to find actual information about UK stocks. Number two being the money that you can make on the stock market. Now, there's more to this as well. So, if you look at the return on the UK stocks, they're pretty much absolutely crap. There's only a few stocks that have generally done well. Like I just mentioned, Just Eat is probably a great performer. I think it's just gone into the FTSE 100. It's a really good performer in the stock market, but that's generally it. You don't really get stocks that kind of do really well. Whereas US stocks, we have a lot of companies that are growing massive. We have companies like Amazon, that's a big company, and everyone knows that Amazon is really good. I mean, you're getting 50% return on that company last year. So overall, the US stocks, you're getting a lot bigger return on it, so you're making a lot more money. As well as being cheaper as well to buy the shares, the money returns on the US stock market is definitely miles better than the UK. You look at the Dow Jones or the S&P compared to the FTSE 100, I think the difference in it is absolutely insane. I can't exactly remember what it is, but we're talking a big massive percent. So that's a big difference that makes to the returns. So obviously you want to go where the money is. So it's easy to make money on the US stock market than the UK stock market. As well as that, probably one reason why is that the economies are totally different. The US economy is miles better than the UK economy. The UK economy pretty much for the last 2 years has been absolutely awful. The reason why is, without getting too political, Brexit hasn't been dealt with in the correct way, which has led to a lot of problems in the economy and a lot of uncertainty. And we've had a lot of unnecessarily general elections, which wasn't needed. And this sort of causes a lot of problems for the economy in the UK, whereas the US, even though there was a lot of criticism towards Donald Trump so far, he seems to have done an okay job. as the president, especially for the economy. So the US economy, compared to UK money, definitely makes a bigger return. So it's always better to invest in the US for a bigger return. And number 3 being that there's better companies on the US stock market. We've got like Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, 4 of the biggest companies, best companies to be invested in as a beginner. All will bring you a decent return, and obviously Apple will pay you a nice dividend as well. So for them, like them companies are great investments. I would recommend straight off. Whereas the UK stocks, there isn't really a really great choice of stocks to be invested in. Like I say, the only standout stock really to me at the moment is Just Eat on the UK stock market, whereas on the US stock market we've got so many companies that potentially could grow massive over the next few years. Big worldwide companies, so you get a better selection of US stocks that I feel. So those are probably the main reasons why I would choose the US stocks over UK stocks. News, easy to find a company, money made, you get bigger returns in the US stock market, and you've got a bigger selection of companies to be invested in. That's my video on US stocks versus UK stocks today. If you give the video a like, and I'll do a new video soon. More than likely I'll be talking about my portfolio so far this year, because I know I've had a lot of stock changes. So if you want to see that, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.